It's easy to make your own pumpkin pie spice. 4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, and a half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg. The ginger is really lumpy, so I'm mashing it with the back of the spoon, but mixed together really well, and store in an airtight container for up to 6 months. I was in the middle of making a spiced wacky or crazy cake when I made the pumpkin spice, so here I am continuing on to mix that and bake it. This cake turned out really well, and it's vegan or dairy-free, and I'll have a video out 3 days after this one on how to make that. Next, I decided to try to make some pumpkin pie spice hot chocolate. And these are the ingredients that I used. In a pan, put 2.5 cups of milk, a 1/4 of a cup of canned pumpkin, a 1/3 of a cup of hot cocoa mix, 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, a pinch of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Stir together and gently bring to the desired temperature. I then served with whipped cream on top and a sprinkle of pumpkin pie spice. This made 3 servings. So another recipe that I really like is vegan pumpkin bread. And it has nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, and cloves in it. But I am going to try using the pumpkin pie spice in that today. 1 3/4 cup flour, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, a 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to use 1 3/4 teaspoon of this pumpkin pie spice that I made. We're going to use 1 cup of pumpkin puree, a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, and 3 tablespoons of water. I don't know what happened, but the camera popped off while I was mixing this up. So here it is, all mixed together. I didn't really do anything special, but just mix it up. And I'm adding a little bit of cooking spray to the pan and then some parchment paper because I have problems with things sticking to my pans. and then a little bit more cooking spray. Because I'm using a dark nonstick pan, I baked this at 325 degrees instead of 350, and it baked for an hour. But if you're using a regular pan, bake this at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes. If you wanted to put pumpkin seeds or walnuts into the batter before baking, you could. And here it is, beautiful and fragrant from the oven. And I turned it out onto a cooling rack. I'll leave the link to the video that I have of this in the description box. I actually hesitate to call any of these recipes vegan because people shut down and they won't try them if you label something vegan. But I'm here to tell you this is a really moist and flavorful pumpkin bread, and you're going to love it. And nobody's going to know that it was made without eggs unless you tell them. So here we have 2 delicious recipes made using homemade pumpkin pie spice, and one more, which the link to that will be added to the description box in a couple of days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.